Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and today I'm going to give you my 5 top tips of how you can elevate your home this year on a budget. Also just want to preface this by saying, because I've gotten this comment before, is that everybody has a different budget. So while I'm saying some things that you might not agree with because it's out of your budget, some of you I might be undercutting your budget. I just want you to know that everyone is different and you have to do what works within your means. Okay, now we've got that out of the way, I'm just going to jump in with my first tip, and that is thrifting. I love thrifting, so we're just gonna start off strong, you guys. But I'm not talking about just thrifting anything, because you can literally thrift anything. I'm living proof of that. But we are not talking Hobby Lobby signs. We are not talking junk. We are talking beautiful high-end vintage pieces. So if you are new here, I actually have a bunch of thrift hauls that you can go and you can see all of the different things that I found just within the last 2 years alone to furnish this home. Now, I have thrifted my whole life. We used it as a means to an end when I was growing up. There was 7 children, we didn't have a very large income, and so we would use thrifting as a way to clothe ourselves and, you know, to get really everything, you know, toys, clothes, things for school, just you name it, we were thrifting it. And then I just loved it growing up. I just thought that it was fun. But honestly, that's how my love of thrifting started, and it just carried throughout my entire life. And I would do it here and there, but it wasn't until we bought our first home and we had to furnish it that I really took full advantage of it. I was obviously using Facebook Marketplace here and there, and we'll talk about the different ways to thrift, but it wasn't until we had a IKEA dresser, because you just kind of, that's what you were told was, as newly married people, or maybe you're in college, is that you should go to IKEA and get your furniture. They've done a very good job of making you think that. And so we did, but if you remember, they had a recall on those dressers where if the drawers, I think it was the M's, H-E-M-N-E-S, the drawers when they came out, they were having a lot of problems with them falling. And so then obviously now you have to secure them to the wall. We all know that, but you were able to bring them back and get your money back. And I had 3 of the dressers. And for whatever reason, maybe it was divine intervention, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna just go buy a different IKEA dresser. I'm not just gonna buy something on the wall. I don't know, I just wanted something with character. It just literally came out of nowhere. And so I went to my local restore and I found a beautiful French provincial dresser. It's actually the one that I just got out of my master bedroom makeover. I loved it so much. And it was $75. And I was like, I'm sorry. I paid maybe $250 and we were low budget, like we still are, but low budget buying IKEA. And it was made of particle board. And I'm like, this is a solid wood piece with detail for $75. And that changed my life. So I still go to IKEA for little things here and there, but honestly, now my first look before I look anywhere else is at the thrift store. And so we've gotten countless dressers, countless items, and we're gonna walk through that a little bit. But my main takeaway from thrifting is that 1, you can get anything at the thrift store, but 2, look for high quality pieces, like I said. And there are also different ways that you can thrift. So it's not just at the thrift store, which is my personal preference because I think that it's just really fun. Also antique stores, some are gonna be higher price, some are gonna be lower price. I know some of you are gonna say, well, thrift stores are so expensive now, and that's completely fair. It's absolutely ridiculous, some of the prices that they charge, but I still do find gems, and I still find that it not only is it cheaper than going to a conventional retail store still, I do find that 1, you can find better objects, and 2, you're still helping the environment. And that is something that I care about. I really don't love this mass quality producing of everything, and anyways, that's a whole nother rant. So some of the items that I have thrifted in my home are basically everything you see here, except for Mona. She was not thrifted. But all of my home decor, I'd say like 90% of it is thrifted. The rug in this living room is a beautiful wool thick pile rug. I got this for I think $100. He told me he paid $1,000 for it years ago. And then the coffee table, beautiful solid wood, $35. I'm not going to tell you all the prices of everything, but essentially, you guys, you can walk throughout my home and you can find a thrifted piece in absolutely every single room, and you can probably find more than one. We've thrifted our dining room hutch, we've thrifted our dining room side table, we've also thrifted the entryway table and the hutch that's in there as well, the table, all of the items, the lamps, you guys, it's endless what you can thrift. Guys, I can honestly talk about thrifting all day long and every single thing that I've thrifted in this home, but it'll take too long. But essentially you get the picture. There's just so much life, I feel like, in truly vintage antique pieces, and they can tell not only a story, you get a story from the pieces themselves, but also the people you meet. I just find it very interesting. I've met so many wonderful people through this, and I don't know, I think it's cool to just to do that, to be able to pass it on and to give it new life in your home. You can thrift anything. You just have to be willing to find it. So some of the different ways you can thrift, obviously, like I've mentioned, thrift stores and antique stores, those are just an easy one go-to, and you can pop in. Like if I'm going out to the grocery store, I'm also stopping at the thrift store. And then another way is obviously Facebook Marketplace. This one's really good because you can do it from the comfort of your own home. And I love this one if I'm looking for something specific. So something like a couch. It's gonna be a little bit harder to find that out thrifting. Not a lot of thrift stores carry furniture specifically. And so then you can kind of set like an alert in your Facebook Marketplace to say like, hey, well, you're not gonna talk to it like that, but you're gonna put an alert to say you're looking for couches, and you can take your time looking, vintage furniture, antique furniture. I get a lot of people saying like, how do I find my specific style? And you just search it, and if you like it and save it, the algorithm picks up on that and it'll start feeding you everything you want. And it's very quick. I've noticed that the algorithm on Marketplace has gotten a lot better. My husband was looking for DVDs the other night, and we have the same Facebook account for that. And so he was looking on his phone for DVDs, and I was scrolling Facebook Marketplace just looking for furniture, because I'm always looking for furniture. And it immediately started to show me DVDs. And I was like, Brad, you just like messed up my whole algorithm being silly, but like it's that quick. So again, Facebook Marketplace, awesome resource. Another one is through estate sales, and I have to be honest, I have not utilized this as much as I need to. Cindy, if you're watching, we need to go find one like next week. So I've heard it can be a lot better than thrifting, but I think it obviously depends. Just like a thrift store, one could be more expensive and one can be not as expensive. An estate sale, some are gonna be really pricey because people just think things are worth so much money and they don't wanna lose that. And some people are like, I've had this for, I don't even care how long, and we just want to get rid of it. So just know that going in, but you can find some really great things at estate sales. You can go to estatesales.net and you can put in your area and it'll show you all of the estate sales coming up. And it's actually really neat, really handy. And if you become a regular at them, you'll start to notice probably the same people running them. And I'm sure you could kind of like get in and be like, hey, like let me know what you've got going on next. Or they've got Facebook pages you can follow. So really helpful. And another place you can thrift is just from your friends and family. Like if you are in need of something, just let them know like, hey, you know, we're in the market for a couch. If you hear of anybody who's getting rid of one, let us know. We're in the market for a bed. If you hear of anyone, let us know. Just starting to use things within each other. I think it's really good. You guys know as people, like we're always changing and evolving and getting rid of things, or if we have a baby and they're out of the crib and now we've got someone in a toddler, or they're going to a queen size bed, do you know what I mean? Like we're constantly moving stuff and it has to be put somewhere. So maybe letting your friends and family know before you get rid of someone, or letting them know you need something before they get rid of something, I think that can be helpful as well. Okay, we need to move on. Of course, I can talk about thrifting all day long, but again, I just want to highlight, because I kind of glazed over it at the beginning, but it matters what you're thrifting. So thrift those high quality wood pieces. Wood is going to last so much longer than anything, like I said, and I'm not trying to downplay IKEA. IKEA is great for what it is, but it's not my favorite. And whatever. Ugh. But thrift those high quality wood pieces. You can thrift, depending on your style, quality pieces. And you'll know, like the more you start to thrift, you'll kind of see that hopefully your style evolves and change, and you'll be like, okay, this is quality. It's not so much the quantity, but like I love thrifting brass candlesticks. So you can't see them, they're over there. Brass candlesticks are great. You can use those all year round, not just Christmas, but for decor, for Valentine's Day, birthdays. They're beautiful, and things with like weight to them, honestly. I feel like that is what really makes it feel more expensive and elevated than just thrifting any old thing. And another thing I love to thrift, I think I said, is frames. And I specifically love thrifting the golden gilded frames. They're gorgeous. Okay, this one has gone on too long. I promise the other ones are gonna be shorter. Let's move on to number 2. So my second tip for how to elevate your home is going to be layering your decor. And you guys, it took me so long to realize this, but when you look at a magazine picture or go to your favorite Pinterest worthy home, pause and look at that photo and then look at your living room. Now, some of you might be doing this really well, and kudos to you. But what you're gonna start to notice is, in a normal home, your couch may just be a couch and have one pillow. Your coffee table may be bare. Your bookshelf might just have a couple books on it. But it's the layering of the elements that really creates that magazine-worthy room. Some of you may be like, I don't need my room to look like a magazine, and that's fine, but that's not the point of this video, so pay attention. So for your coffee table, you're not just gonna put one candle on it. You're gonna do what the magazines do, and you're gonna put maybe an open book. It gives a little bit of life and brings in some conversation. You might have a candle, you might have a vase with some florals, and then same thing with your bookshelves. It's not just putting like a picture and maybe a book stand, it's putting a book on the book stand. It's putting layered books, as well as this little jar that I've got here. And then also over here, we've got more books and an easel that has something on it. So literally right here, this is layered. And I'm gonna show you some other areas in my home, but it honestly, think about it like this too. It's all in the details. So you can paint a room and you can add your rug and your couch, but it's when you add those extra things. It's when you add a throw blanket, which I don't have one right now, but a throw blanket to your chair and a pillow, maybe a second pillow. Do pattern mixing. So do a floral pillow with a striped pillow. In the bedrooms for your children, again, having that rug, but maybe having something on the rug like a hamper or a beanbag, or the bedding is not just one blanket, but it has multiple pillows and blankets. And again, you might seem like this is excessive, but if we're thrifting all of this, you guys, it really makes a difference. I promise you. I learned this, like I said, the hard way. And in my other home, it was much more minimal, and it wasn't really by choice, but it's just like, I thought I was doing a good job. You know, I bought the couch and I bought the rug and I hung a couple pictures and I felt, yay, I'm done. But now comparing it to what I've done here, it's like, oh, I get it. Like I get now why magazines just pull you in and they make you feel cozy and they feel so warm, and there's just something about them. And it's those little details that you might not notice unless you start paying attention. So this is something that can happen over time as well. This does not mean that you need to go out and buy a million things for your bookshelves, but it does give you a good reason to thrift. But just keep that in mind as you're styling your room, and it may feel pretty, but you're like, something's missing. It's those little details. So the third way to elevate your home is actually quite simple, but a lot of people get it wrong. And that is hanging your curtains high and wide. And I want to say thank you to 2 Pages who is sponsoring this video. They are my favorite curtain brand. I've worked with them in almost every single room. You guys know that I love them, and I love them for a reason. They make beautiful curtains. I love the pleating. They have so many options, and you can design how wide and how long you want them. So I've used them in rooms for full length, and I've also used them in my kitchen for cafe curtains, as well as my son's room. They are absolutely beautiful, stunning, gorgeous quality. And not only that, like I said, you can customize them completely. So you can get plain, you can get blackout, privacy lined, and you can also get floral and gingham. I mean, you think of it, they've got it. And not only that, their shipping time is so fast for custom curtains. I was shocked the first time I used them that I ordered them, and within 2 weeks later, max, they were here. Most of the time they come within a week. It's actually wild. So I have nothing to say but good things about 2 Pages. And you can see here how beautiful and full they are. I really love the pleating look because I feel like that's one extra layer of elevation. Get rid of the grommets. You guys, the grommet holes in the curtains are doing nothing for nobody. So get rid of those and try pleated curtains. They are so beautiful. But the biggest problem that people make is that they're hanging these curtains too low. They think I need to go right above the trim and right beside, but that's not the case. It makes your window look a lot shorter than it should, and it kind of makes your room also shorter as well, because your eye is just gonna be drawn to the top of that curtain and stop there. Whereas in this visual here, if you put your curtains high and wide, then you're going to actually elevate your room. Your eye's gonna go higher, it's gonna make your ceiling seem higher, and your room just feel that much more elevated. And if you need curtains, I will have a link down below for you, as well as a coupon code you guys can use to save. I love 2 Pages so much. They're the absolute best, and thank you for 2 Pages again for sponsoring this video. Besides thrifting, this might be one of my favorite tips, and it is tip number 4, and that is add wall molding. I am obsessed with wall molding. And yes, I have an older home, so obviously it lends itself to that. But if you're someone who wants to add character to your space, you can do this in a builder-grade home. Believe me, I've seen it done. I've done it myself to my sister's house, but the wall molding, oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many different ways to do it, so many different kinds, but I feel like we put our paint on the wall and then we kind of forget about the walls. It's just like they've done their job. Like that's all that's needed. No. Wall molding. So there is beadboard in this house, which is beautiful. It's like those little slats. It's almost like shiplap, but thinner. This is more of a traditional style that was used in the era of my home in the 1900s. And it's coming around now, which I'm so happy about. And it looks even better, as you can see here, if you stack it with even more trim, just like the trim. When you're thinking of should I add more trim, it's just always yes, more trim. And I've done it in this room here that we're in as well. I've done it in my son's room, and in my bedroom I just did it. I showed you guys. And one of my favorite ways to do it is by adding chair rail all around the room. I do that about 1/3 of the way up the wall, and then underneath I will do boxes, and above that I will do boxes. And a lot of people say, like, how do you do this? And you can go online. There's lots of blog tutorials. There's lots of posts of people telling you exactly mathematically how to do it. I personally like to just do it based off what the room is. So I just go off of this wall needs a smaller box, this wall needs a bigger box, but having them all be the same height, obviously, because that's what you're supposed to do. And then I've also done board and batten in my daughter's room. So this is more of just a plain style, a little bit more kind of primitive cottage. And I just did a little bit higher up on the wall for this because I knew that I wanted to do wallpaper, but I didn't want the wallpaper to be too high. So you can see here, this beautiful color is Sachet Sand by Sherwin-Williams. And we just put that all the way around the room. And I just love the way it looks. Just something different. Not every single room has to be the same. And I think it's fun to play with wall molding, but oh, you guys. Now this one, of course, might be a little bit more of the budget eater for sure. Like I get that buying trim, but it makes such a powerful statement that I truly believe that you get your bang for your buck. And a lot of the times too, I find that some colors fall flat or they just look wrong. But I feel like wall molding fixes all of that. I feel like no matter what color you do, like wall molding just elevates it and makes every color work. Except for maybe like neon green. I don't know if it could save that color. And I also want to give you a tip too, that my favorite trim that you can find, I'll have it linked down below, but you can get it at Lowe's. They just have an assortment. I don't know why Home Depot doesn't have as much, but Lowe's has really pretty decorative. You can choose different chair rails that have just like really beautiful character and texture to them and design. But yeah, you can find different thicknesses and widths and all the things. And I typically like my chair rail to be a little bit thicker, and then I will have the molding be a little bit thinner. But you guys, it's fun. It's fun to play around. And when you do it once and you see the impact it makes, you're gonna be addicted. Okay, my final tip might be a little obvious based off of some of what you've seen, and that is go bold with color. Now, be careful. I'm not saying do like 90s or even 60s, 70s crazy colors. I'm talking about historically rich, bold color. Now, that might scare you, and I saved it for last on purpose because I didn't want you to just click off this video. But when I was first starting out, like I said, in my house that was very minimal, and I wasn't like a minimal person like people are minimal now, but it just was what it was. But I was gray and white because that's what everybody was doing, and I was terrified of color. Like, it's just literally. I think we painted some stripes on the kids' walls, but even that was one wall, and that's all I did because color scared me. However, since moving into this home, and you know, you obviously get inspired by other people, you get inspired by the home you're in. I started small in the powder bath, and I chose French Beret by Benjamin Moore, and it is like this gorgeous blue, almost black color. It just felt so rich, and I was like, what have I been doing? Like, why did no one tell me? Like, this is kind of fun. And then we came into this room and we did Waterloo by Sherwin-Williams. It's my most asked about paint color of all time. Like, I honestly probably get this question, if not once a day, at least once every other day, of what color is that paint? And it is stunning. And again, wall molding, I feel like elevates it even more. And then I was hooked. I said, oh my gosh, where can I add more color? Now, I do still like to balance. You'll see in my entryway that we have Cast Iron by Sherwin-Williams on the bottom. Love this. Just like a really beautiful, rich, again, my home is older, but even in general, I feel like if my home wasn't older, I would still probably lend toward a little bit more of these deeper, rich colors because they just feel elevated. They just feel sophisticated. There's just something about it. You have to be really careful with undertones because your paint can lean a certain way, and it is a little bit of a skill set. I will say that, and I think that God just kind of gave me it because I've never had this before. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, and obviously everybody has their preferences, and you can choose whatever paint color you want as long as it makes you happy. It's your home, 100%. I'm just trying to give you my tips and tricks, but I did pair the cast iron with accessible beige at 50%. And what that means is that you can go to the paint counter and actually get your paint lightened or darkened. So I got mine lightened, so it's half the, what's the word? So it's half as strong as what the original color should be, just because the original color was too tan and I wanted it to be a little bit more creamy, almost close to white in the sunlight, and that's exactly what it is. It pairs so beautifully with the cast iron, but that calms the color. So if color scares you, you can always start with something like that. Put your wall molding on, beadboard if that's what it is, and you can do 2 different colors and start slow, or you could color drench, which is essentially what I almost did in this room, except for the ceiling because I have different plans. But yeah, we've just had a lot of fun with color with the girls' room, the Sachet Sand you guys saw, the boys' room, Royal Garnet by Valspar, stunning rich ruby color. Just whew, you guys, wow. But it elevates a space. It makes it look historic and rich and beautiful. And so don't be afraid to try the paint color, you guys. And I always say this, you guys, it's one of the most budget-friendly things you can do is just buying a gallon of paint and trying it out. And worst case scenario, you don't like it and you buy another one. And yes, of course, it could be money wasted, but you never know, maybe it wasn't, and maybe it was beautiful and you loved it. But anyways, you guys, those are my 5 tips. I hope that you find them really helpful, you enjoy them. Let me know if you'll be trying any of them out soon, or if you have been, specifically thrifting, you guys. I'm gonna end this video, pop out, gotta get some groceries so you guys know where I'm ending up. But I hope this helped, and if you want me to expand on anything further, any questions, like I said, please leave them in the comments down below. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go keep elevating my house and you keep elevating yours. And don't forget to check out 2 pages. Like I said, I'll have it linked down below. Love them. They're beautiful, high quality, gorgeous curtains. And if you get them, don't forget, high and wide. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.